We're here today for your very own radio telescope. In the previous things, we've talked about how you can build a radio telescope like this one behind us, and we're now going to show you your first introduction to GNU Radio. That is myself, Glen, Langston, and Sophie and Evan at the Green Bank Observatory. And so we'll take it away, Sophie.
All right, so we're going to open up GNU Radio Companion and start creating a flow of software to record and visualize audio sounds. So we have to start with an audio source. We're just going to drag that over to our canvas and put it wherever we want on that blank space.
That tells our software to listen to the microphone in the laptop.
Yeah, and so if that microphone is picking up a very slight sound, or if we're whispering, then we want to make sure that we can still see that signal, that spectra. And so we're going to multiply it by a constant. We just drag this block out, and you may notice that these blue tabs and the orange tab won't connect. So to change the properties of this block, we're going to double click on it and change this complex to float. We're also going to make sure that our constant is not 0, because if we multiply by 0, we won't see any peak at all when we are speaking or whistling or otherwise. So we're going to change that just to a number like 5. Now these orange tabs can connect together, so you can click on one to the other, and it makes a nice arrow for us to see our path. Next, we're going to make sure that we can see this data with 2 variables, one being frequency and one being time. So we're going to look up QT GUI, and you may see there's a QT GUI frequency sync and a QT GUI time sync, and we're going to need both of those. So drag them out into your canvas and change those connecting points, those blue complex, to floats. And in our frequency block, we also want to change the spectrum width from full to half. And we also want to change this auto scale from being no to yes. We want to auto scale our spectra. Secondly, we're going to do that to the time sync. This is just changing complex to float. There's no other drop downs that you need to, or properties that you need to worry about there. And we're just going to connect our out and input tabs and make it look all nice.
Those graphical user interfaces are going to make plots. One is going to be a plot of time, of intensity versus time, and the other is going to be frequency versus time. And that's going to allow us to sort of understand sort of our audio universe a little bit, and that sort of is going to be an analogy for radio astronomy.
Yeah, so let's see if we can see the invisible. We click this run button, and immediately we can see what Glen was referring to as the time versus its amplitude or its intensity, its loudness, and the frequency versus its relative gain as well. So if we whistle, loud or soft, we can see that change here in the time amplitude. We can see the frequency at which that whistle note is at in our bottom graph. And so we can play around with visualizing different sounds, from voices to whistles, and even to one of these resonating bowls that you may have seen in meditation or yoga rooms. So we're going to be really quiet, and we're going to visualize what frequency the sound is at, as well as this nice sine wave up top in this time amplitude box.
So you can see that it's sort of, you can really identify things by the frequency at which they make their resonant. The time sequence is a little confused, but that frequency is very precise for some things, and it's particularly precise for things in the universe, like our galaxy. And we'll go from this audio example to the radio astronomy example that will show us exactly how we can identify parts of our galaxy.
Absolutely. So have fun playing with your newly defined radio, And we'll see you next time to build your telescope.
Thanks.